I know that Ben knows about the two of us. I wanted to make sure that you were okay. For the last time, how did your husband find out that I was involved with Elvira? Because Wanda was the one who told me everything, and you just confirmed it. Since I'm here because my husband and his family found out about my infidelity, I'm gonna assume that your wife found out. She did. So how exactly did Terry find out about us, Finnegan? Terry? I said to her, I'm not here for you. If you're not here to see me, then that means you're here for someone else, and I can tell you that the person you're looking for isn't here. You don't even know who I'm here to see. Oh yes I do. Like I told you, the person you're here to see isn't here. Heidi got kicked out for sleeping with your husband. Yvette? Hey JJ. Hey, did you have a good Christmas? I did, but things got weird and I really need a friend. Udell. Look, Udell. I don't know exactly what Wanda told you. I told you what my wife said. She told me that you slept with Elvira when I was with her, and that you got my wife to cover for you this entire time. That's not how it was like. Can you just hear me out and let me explain? The floor is yours. Explain to me how you slept with a 17-year-old girl when you were already married. Who is it? All right, I'm coming. Hello, Miss Franklin. Do you have time to chat? That's why you're here, right? You somehow found out that your husband has been sleeping with Heidi. Well, I doubt that she confessed. How exactly did Gianni find out? Ben told him. But we can both guess where Ben retrieved this sort of information from. Since Heidi isn't here, then where does she head off to? Probably Theodosius's palace, but before you confront the woman who slept with your husband, you still have business to take care of with Ben. He's back on the bottle, which means that he's unpredictable. What's wrong, Yvette? During Christmas morning, both of my parents were home. By the end of the day, my mom was gone. And she never came back? Nope. Do you know where she went? It's not like I planned to get involved with Elvira. That makes it better. You still slept with her when you knew that she was with me, and when you already had a family of your own. And from what it looks like, you two are trying to figure out the next move now that I know. Udell, that's not what was happening. I told Devante to leave me alone. If you wanted him to leave you alone, Wanda, then you would have walked off. Most of all, you didn't have to stay in this hotel if you didn't want to run into Devante, especially since he's the owner. I don't have to stay at any hotel as long as you let me come back home. That's not happening. Then let's deal with the matter at hand. You know that Elvira cheated on you with me. What do you plan to do with this information, Udell? I was wondering when you would come and see me. Well, I'm glad that you're not insulting my intelligence by asking me why I'm here. As a matter of fact, I have a question for you. What's your question, Mrs. Russo? You remember my title? Good. How long have you been sleeping with my husband? I think that's a conversation that should be had with you and Gianni. Mr. Russo to you, young lady. I don't see why it would be such a problem to get an answer from my husband's whore. So since Ben is back on the bottle, that means that he'll spill all of the secrets that were written in Elvira's diary? He was drunk when he exposed Heidi, and he almost exposed me. Oh my word. And I can imagine that since Finnegan knows that you found out about him and Heidi, he would be more than willing to put you in prison for what you did. Please tell me that you didn't request for a divorce. Great. Look, just because Ben is reckless doesn't mean that he can't be manipulated when he's most vulnerable. As long as you play it smart, you can convince him to rip out the page or pages that concern my late grandfather. If I can convince Ben to do this, does that mean that I'm free from you for good? I asked my dad, but all he told me was that she was out. When I called my mom to ask where she was, all she told me was that she would be back home soon. At least you know that your mom's safe. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that she's okay. She left home on Christmas. Something went on between them. What do you think happened? I can't say what exactly. I'm pretty sure that it has something to do with me, though. What do you want me to do, Devontae? Would you like me to keep this to myself for another 20 years? Why shouldn't I tell Isabel, or even tell the Russos? Because if you say anything to anyone, then it will end up hurting a lot of people. Just like how you and Elvira hurt me. For all these years, I didn't even know that you were to blame. For so many years, I always wondered who Elvira chose over me. I don't know why it didn't occur to me that it was a grown man. At the end of the day, Elvira didn't want me. She wanted you. Bottom line is this, Devontae. You're still mad over something that happened years ago. You're a married man and you got a child out of it. And I only ended up with Wanda because I never thought that she would hurt me the way that Elvira hurt me. Okay, since you want to know so bad, I'll tell you. When Russo Jewelers held an event to support young entrepreneurs, I made a news segment about it, and that's how I met Mr. Russo. The two of us got to know one another and began to enjoy each other's company. So did my husband seduce you, or did you seduce him? It wasn't like that, Mrs. Russo. It just happened. I didn't plan this, and neither did your husband. Unfortunately for you, Miss Franklin, I don't care if it wasn't planned. You still slept with my husband, the father of my sons. One of them, who I heard you got to know pretty well. Because of that, he fell off the wagon. I'm really sorry for causing Ben to lose his sobriety. That is something that I will regret for the rest of my life, especially when I ended up caring for your son. Cut the crap! You didn't care about my son, you only wanted to screw him, and that ended up screwing him over because you ended up screwing my husband. Mrs. Russo, I can admit my wrongs, but don't you think that your husband wouldn't have come running to me if you didn't cheat on him with the police commissioner in the first place? You have no right to throw my faults in my face. Not after what I've done for your family. I understand that Zeke Franklin is your younger brother. He was faced with some very serious charges and I dropped the charges because Ben asked me to. Clearly, he wanted me to drop the charges for you. Filth. But what I want to know is how you know about my affair with Commissioner Burke. I know that my word doesn't mean much to you, Terry, but if you accomplish the mission, then you're free from me for good. Okay, let's get this done and over with as soon as possible. Yvette, you're not to blame for whatever is going on between your parents. Are you sure about that? This Max issue might have been too much for them. Maybe they snapped at each other because of how much it stressed them out. You don't know if that's true, and I doubt it is. If your parents had some sort of falling out, then I'm 100% sure that it had nothing to do with you. I'm really sorry for what your parents are going through, and I'll pray for you. JJ? Yeah? Would you mind praying for me right now? This entire situation is making me worried. Of course. Lord, I pray that you would be with Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell. I don't know what's going on between them, but I pray that you would keep the family together. Lord, I pray that you would comfort Yvette and offer her peace during this confusing time. Not because of any good that I've done, but in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you, JJ. Anytime. Udell, I was never once unfaithful. You know that. But you lied to me, Wanda. In fact, you lied to me much longer than Elvira did. The thing is that if you were only honest with me from the beginning, then we wouldn't be in the mess we're in right now. As for you, Devontae, I want you to wonder like I did. Except, I want you to wonder if I'll ever tell anyone about you and Elvira. It might take me 20 years, 20 minutes, 20 days. I want you to wonder when your life will come crashing down when I wondered who helped destroy my relationship with Elvira all of this time. Have a good day. You told him? That's what he said, isn't it? When you were supposed to make things better, you only made things worse. This is your mess, Wanda. You better fix it. And what if I don't, Devontae? Then I'll make your life so much worse than it is right now. Does it matter how I know about you and the commissioner? I did you and your brother a favor. A huge one. Because if your brother makes another offense, I have the power to punish him to the highest extent of the law. I understand that I slept with your husband. You have every right to be mad at me and even hate me for Ben falling off the wagon. What you won't do, Mrs. Russo, is threaten my little brother. You want to know how I found out about you and Commissioner Burke? Fine. It was from Elvira's diary. What? And I know that Ben has it. He might still be pissed at me for hurting him, but I think he'd be more than willing to hand me Elvira's diary and spill all of her secrets that come from it. If I do an update on Elvira's case, then the whole world will know about you and Commissioner Burke. Stay away from my husband, and most of all, stay away from my son.